Remember to comment below if you want more videos about one specific topic, and do single quote forget to subscribe to the channel.
Common symptoms of dementia. There are a number of different forms of dementia. Not all dementia is Alzheimer's. However, the various types often have some signs and symptoms in common. Common symptoms of dementia. There are two types of symptoms: cognitive related to thinking and psychological changes. Cognitive changes: memory loss, which is usually noticed by a spouse, relative, or someone other than the person suffering from cognitive impairment. Difficulty handling complex tasks, trouble with everyday tasks the person would normally do easily, such as at work. Trouble with planning and organizing, difficulty communicating or finding words, difficulty reasoning or problem-solving, difficulty with coordination and motor functions, confusion and disorientation. Psychological changes: personality changes, such as a normally quiet person becoming loud and aggressive, or vice versa. Sadness, depression, anxiety, worrying about things for no specific reason, inappropriate behavior, such as being rude or lacking in good manners. Paranoia, being convinced that people are spying on them or out to get them. Agitation, nervousness, even in familiar situations. Hallucinations, seeing things and people that aren't there. Around 50 of Parkinson's patients have this causes of memory loss. It is important to note that not all of these symptoms demonstrate a clear diagnosis of dementia. For example, some medications can cause memory loss and/or behavioral changes. So can stress, and a lack of sleep deprivation. Discussing the issue with your doctor could mean a switch to a similar medication, but without the same side effect. Stress management techniques and focusing on a person's sleep routine could lead to improvement. Progression of the condition: if you notice your own memory failing, or see a loved one exhibiting more and more symptoms, it is likely to be dementia, in which case, you would need to see a doctor for a definitive diagnosis. Warning signs of Alzheimer's: as the population in the West ages, many people are concerned about developing Alzheimer's. They can often become disturbed by changes in their memory and fear the worst. But not all dementia is Alzheimer's. Here are some warning signs to watch out for in yourself or a loved one. 1. The memory loss is so severe, it disrupts daily activities. In this case, the person is unable to remember simple things or do their regular daily activities easily. They start to become more dependent and unable to handle things on their own. 2. The person has trouble with planning in simple tasks. Many older people find themselves having trouble managing their finances and paying bills, following recipes, and taking much longer than usual to complete simple tasks. 3. Becoming challenged by technology. The person finds it hard to use tools they usually have no problems with, such as a computer or microwave. 4. Confusion with the time or where they are. They lose track of hours and days and are often confused about where they are and how they got there. 5. Vision problems. There are a number of tests a doctor can administer which will reveal typical vision distortion and other issues suffered by those with Alzheimer's. 6. Trouble speaking or writing. A person with Alzheimer's will start to lose their words and will also have trouble following conversations. 7. Social isolation as a result of psychological changes and trouble communicating. Those with Alzheimer's often withdraw from family and friends, which can actually worsen their condition. 8. Losing things. The person will often lose things like keys and money. 9. Decreased or poor judgment. People with Alzheimer's may also experience changes in judgment or decision-making. For example, they may use poor judgment when dealing with money, such as giving large amounts to telemarketers. They may pay less attention to grooming or keeping themselves clean. Changes in mood. The most common change is depression, But it might also be anxiety or aggression. These signs and symptoms can help identify Alzheimer's and other dementia so that the best possible help can be sought.
I know that you like it like that. I wear designer, check the name on the tag. White fox fur on my jacket. Excuse me, that's